Neri is probably the most put together student that I've ever.
Sorry about that.
Let me tell you a little bit about Neri. I think just to preface before we start, there are times if you would think about like a great photographer or an artist or something, and it would be dealing with groupings of very, very important people and very, very important events throughout history. Neri might not be like that primary focal person, but she would be like the right next person looking over the shoulder in multiple of those settings and contexts. She's really risen to her own in terms of that leadership and then that service, but she has been consistently for her entire career at Maine East one of the people who has been very quiet, and I used the term last month and it is very applicable again. She's really a servant leader in the way she goes about doing things. So while in Interact, particularly in DECA, and some of the things we're going to talk about, we've had some very, very strong, force of will sorts of personalities. That is not Neri's MO in terms of the way she gets things done. She again is always very, very poised in terms of the way she goes about things. She's very well organized. She is able to delegate and coordinate and to orchestrate, and for that reason has been very successful and I think is enjoying a good year. She's got a GPA of 4.81, so clearly she does a pretty nice job academically in the classroom, again taking a lot of AP and accelerated coursework. She's also a very active member of Gifted Lyceum. She's been on the service trips to Ohio, particularly warm work trip this last year, and has been involved in the various activities and the outreach they do there. She's also enrolled in our Project Lead the Way Civil Engineering and Architecture. She's a senior leader in PE, so she's availed herself of a lot of academic offerings. In addition to all of this, she's been a 3-year member of my principal's leadership team. She's a member of National Honor Society. She's president of the school's Rotary Interact Club, which is, I think, approaching 300 members now. It's the largest organization in the East and the largest in the state, and has seen another uptick under her leadership this year in terms of kind of tail twisting to get people involved. She's vice president of student council. She's vice president of DECA. She's one of 2 students responsible for serving as the voice of Maine East on morning announcements, which she's done for the past 3 years. And she volunteers at the Niles Public Library and the Belmont Retirement Home, and she works as a teller at a local bank. So she does quite a lot. As a member of the DECA chapter, she has presented and participated both at state and national levels. Last year, her team was one of 3 finalists with their design of a waste management model. She has managed the planning and staffing of our Demon Depot for past years and over the summers, which is getting supplies, making sure we've got things, coordinating people who are going to work in the depot. She's also been in charge of coordinating the staffing for our Demon Brew program that gives some of our transitional program students the opportunity to work side by side with some other Maine East students. And it's been sort of a project that's been taken under the wing of Rotary and the Interact chapter. National Honor Society, she was really shouldered a lot of responsibility last year for the Color Walk that raised $2,500 for Muscular Dystrophy Association, and again really led by example in that venture. In terms of the Interact chapter, we've done some good work in the past, and Mary's been very involved with that. As later this year, she's really set the bar. So where last year we raised about $10,000 with Interact for the WGN Toy Drive, she's set a goal of $15,000, and we're going to go for it and see how we do here. In terms of, we had an End Polio Now program for Rotary International, and last year we initiated a dodgeball tournament school-wide that raised $3,700, and this year, say about 500 students, so this year we're shooting for $7,000 and about 1,000 students, which is a whole lot of dodgeball, but gives me a little concern. I'm sure it's very well supervised. So. But again, Rotary has mantra of service above self, and I think that Neri really sleeps, eats, breathes, walks that as she goes through. She's just intelligent. She's a great work ethic. She has good common sense, positive attitude. She's diligent. She needs to get the job done quietly with style. Neri is your person to go to. So we are extremely proud of you, and I know you're going to do great things in the future. Congratulations. I think we got a bit of a fan club here.
So first, I have Mr. Foley, my previous physics teacher. I have Charlotte. She's a Rotarian. We work with her in Rotary Interact. Also, Mr. Al Bartel, who's also another Rotarian. Miss Ballo, who helps me with announcements every morning and is the sweetest person I've ever met. And of course, Mr. Schwan. I really would not. I have no words for everything Mr. Schwan has done throughout all 4 years. I met him my freshman year, and ever since he's helped mold me and helped me become the leader I am today. And I would like to thank everybody for everything they've done for me. And I have applied to a bunch of schools, waiting on responses, so I'm not exactly sure where I will be going, but I applied for chemical engineering with the hopes of eventually working for the EPA and maybe going to get an MBA eventually.